The Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority (SEPTA) is a regional public transportation authority that operates bus, rapid transit, commuter rail, light rail, and electric trolleybus services for nearly 4 million people in 5 counties in and around Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. SEPTA is the major transit provider for Philadelphia and the counties of Delaware, Montgomery, Bucks, and Chester. SEPTA has the 6th largest US rapid transit system by ridership and the 5th largest overall transit system with about 302 million annual unlinked trips as of fiscal year 2018. It controls 290 active stations, over 450 miles of track, 2,350 revenue vehicles, and 196 routes. SEPTA is one of only 2 US transit authorities that operates all of the 5 major types of terrestrial transit vehicles: regional commuter rail trains, heavy rapid transit, subway elevated trains, light rail vehicles, trolleys, trolleybuses, and motor buses. SEPTA was created by the Pennsylvania legislature on August 17, 1963 to coordinate government subsidies to various transit and railroad companies in southeastern Pennsylvania. It commenced on February 18, 1964. On March 1, 1976, SEPTA acquired the transit operations of Schuylkill Valley Lines, which is today the Frontier Division. Meanwhile, SEPTA gradually began to take over the Pennsylvania Railroad and Reading Company commuter trains. Many derelict lines under SEPTA ownership have been converted to rail trails, postponing any restoration proposals for the foreseeable future. Market Frankfort Line, Blue Line or EI subway and elevated line from the Frankfort Transportation Center in the Frankfort section of Philadelphia to 69th Street Transportation Center in Upper Darby via Center City, weekday ridership averaged 180,100 in 2010. Broad Street Line and Broad Ridge Spur, Orange Line subway line along Broad Street in Philadelphia from Fimrock Transportation Center to NRG Station Sports Complex via Center City, Philadelphia. Weekday ridership averaged 136,670 in 2010. Both rapid transit lines run from 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. Monday through Thursday. The lines run non-stop from 5 a.m. on Friday to 1 on Monday morning. Norristown High-Speed Line, Purple Line, formerly known as the Philadelphia and Western Railroad and Route 100, this former interurban heavy rail line is powered by third rail and has high-level platforms. Daily ridership averaged 8,530 passengers in 2010. It runs from 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. 7 days a week. On January 1, 1983, SEPTA took over the commuter rail services formerly operated by Conrail under contract and reorganized them as regional rail. This division operates 13 lines serving more than 150 stations, covering most of the 5-county southeastern Pennsylvania region. It also runs trains to Wilmington and Newark, Delaware, as well as Trenton and West Trenton, New Jersey. Daily ridership averaged over 132,000 passengers in 2016, with 29% of ridership on the Paoli, Thorndale, and Lansdale Doylestown lines. Most of the cars used on the lines were built between 1963 and 1976. After building delays, the first Silverliner V cars were introduced into service on October 29, 2010. These cars represent the first new electric multiple units purchased for the regional rail system since the completion of the Silverliner, the fourth order, in 1976, and the first such purchase to be made by SEPTA. As of March 19, 2013, all Silverliner 5 cars are in service and make up almost 1/3 of the current 400-car regional rail fleet, which are replacing the older, aging fleet. At the start of July 2016, however, a serious structural flaw, cracks in a weight-bearing beam on a train car's undercarriage, was discovered during an emergency inspection to exist in more than 95% of the 120 Silverliner, the 5th cars in the SEPTA regional rail fleet, which the company announced would take the rest of the summer to repair and would reduce the system's capacity by as much as 50%. SEPTA has 3 major operating divisions: city transit, suburban, and regional rail. These divisions reflect the different transit and railroad operations that SEPTA has assumed. SEPTA also offers CCT Connect paratransit service. The City Transit Division operates routes mostly within the city of Philadelphia, including buses, subway surface trolley lines, the Market Frankfort Line and the Broad Street Line. SEPTA City Transit Division surface routes include bus and trackless trolley lines. The Victory District operates suburban bus and trolley or light rail routes that are based at the 69th Street Transportation Center in Upper Darby in Delaware County. Its light rail routes comprise the Norristown High-Speed Line, Route 100, that runs from 69th Street Transportation Center to Norristown Transportation Center, and the SEPTA Surface Media and Sharon Hill Trolley Lines, Routes 101, 102. The Railroad Division operates 13 commuter railroad routes that begin in central Philadelphia and radiate outwards, terminating in intracity, suburban, and out-of-state locations. This division is a descendant of the 6 electrified commuter lines of the Reading Company, the 6 electrified commuter lines of the Pennsylvania Railroad, PRR, later Penn Central PC, and the new airport line constructed by the city of Philadelphia between 1974 and 1984. With the construction and opening of the Center City Commuter Connection Tunnel in 1984, lines were paired such that a former Pennsylvania Railroad line was coupled with a former Reading line. 7 such pairings were created and given route designations numbered R1 to R8, with R4 not used. As a result, the routes were originally designed so that trains would proceed from one outlying terminal to Center City, stopping at 30th Street Station, Suburban Station, and Jefferson, formerly Market East Station, then proceed out to the other outlying terminal assigned to the route. Since ridership patterns have changed since the implementation of this plan, SEPTA removed the R numbers from the lines in July 2010 and instead refers to the lines by the names of their termini. CCT Connect is a paratransit service from SEPTA that offers a shared ride program for senior citizens and ADA paratransit service for people with disabilities. The shared ride program provides a door-to-door ride-sharing service through advance reservations for senior citizens aged 65 or older in the city of Philadelphia for travel within the city and to points within 3 miles of the city's borders. The ADA paratransit service provides door-to-door service through advance reservations for people with disabilities in accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act (ADA), allowing for travel across the SEPTA service area within 3/4 mile, 1.2 kilometers of fixed route transit service when such service operates. The cash fare to ride on SEPTA's transit services is $2.50, which must be paid in exact change. SEPTA offer tokens as a discount to cash, with each token costing $2. On regional rail, fares can be paid with tickets purchased in advance from a ticket office or online, or on board the train from a conductor using cash. Fares on regional rail are based on fare zones reflecting the station's distance from Center City, Philadelphia. Fares are higher during the day, on weekdays, and lower on evenings and weekends. Various passes are offered by SEPTA that can be used on transit and regional rail services. The Trans Pass costs $25.50 weekly and $96 monthly and can be used for all transit rides within the time period. The Trans Pass is not valid on regional rail. The Trail Pass is available either weekly or monthly and can be used on regional rail up to the zone. SEPTA allows senior citizens to ride transit services and regional rail trains in Pennsylvania for free identification. Fares on regional rail trains operating to Delaware or New Jersey are half the weekday fare. Disabled persons may ride transit services for half price and regional rail trains for half the weekday fare with identification. SEPTA allows up to 2 children under 5 to ride transit services for free with a fare-paying adult. On regional rail, up to 2 children under 5 may ride for free with a fare-paying adult, while children between the ages of 5 and 11 may ride for half the weekday fare. SEPTA offers special fares for students in K-12 schools who ride SEPTA to get to school. School tokens are available for $1.90 to $2 except in the city of Philadelphia. The SEPTA Key card is a smart card that can be used for fares and passes on SEPTA's transit services: bus, trolley, trackless trolley, rapid transit. Presently, a key card with a valid Trans Pass is valid on the airport line during the week and on all regional rail lines on weekends. Tokens are gradually being phased out as part of the transition to key. SEPTA stopped selling tokens at most locations on April 30, 2018. SEPTA established the current Transit Police Department in 1981. It now has about 260 officers operating in 7 patrol zones. The Broad Street Line uses cars built by Kawasaki between 1982 and 1984. These cars, known as B4, as they are the 4th generation used on the line, are stainless steel and include some cars with operating cabs at both ends, as well as some with only a single cab. The market Frankfort Line uses a class of car known as M4, as they, like the Broad Street B4s, represent the line's 4th generation of cars and were built from 1997 to 1999 by Attrans. The Nori Stone high-speed line uses a class of cars known as N5s. They were delivered in 1993 by ABB after significant production delays. These cars are unique in that they are powered by a third rail and are standard gauge. SEPTA uses a mixed fleet of General Electric and Hyundai Rotem Silverliner electric multiple unit self-operated cars. The aging locomotives, which have already been retired by their other operators, Amtrak and NJ Transit, were replaced by 15 Siemens ACS 64 locomotives in 2018. SEPTA serves Philadelphia International Airport with local bus service and with the airport line from Center City. Total number of lines is 196, 3 rapid transit lines. Total number of stations is 290, 73 rapid transit stations. Annual ridership is 308,299,800 of passengers in 2017. The system length is 450 miles, total 39 miles rapid transit. The Port Authority Transit Corporation PATCO Speed Line is a rapid transit system operated by the Port Authority Transit Corporation, which runs between Philadelphia, Pennsylvania and Camden County, New Jersey. The speed line runs underground in Philadelphia, crosses the Delaware River on the Benjamin Franklin Bridge, runs underground in Camden, then runs above ground in New Jersey until the east end of the line. The Port Authority Transit Corporation and the speed line are owned and operated by the Delaware River Port Authority. The line transports over 38,000 people daily. In 2012, ridership reached a 10-year high, with the system having carried 10,612,897 passengers, but dipped to 10,007,256 passengers in 2014. Speedline operation began on January 4, 1969, between Lindenwold and Camden, New Jersey. February 15, 1969, saw the first trip from Lindenwold, New Jersey to Center City, Philadelphia. The Speedline operates 24 hours a day, one of only 6 US rapid transit systems to do so. The modern-day PATCO Speedline follows the route of several historical mainline railroad lines, some dating back to the 19th century. These railroads all terminated in Camden, where passengers could catch ferries across the Delaware River to Philadelphia. Construction of the rail line did not actually begin until 1932, and the bridge line opened on June 7, 1936. As soon as the bridge line entered service, the unserved neighboring communities in southern New Jersey began requesting for extensions to the line, so that those communities would also be served. The last Broadridge spur trains ran to the subway on August 23, 1968, when work began to convert the Locust Street and Camden subways for use by the new PATCO Speed Line, which would use the Bridge Line subway to enter Philadelphia. DRPA service ended on December 29, 1968 for final conversion of the line. PATCO service from Lindenwold Station to Camden along former Pennsylvania Reading Seashore Lines trackage began on January 4, 1969. Full service into Center City, Philadelphia over the bridge began on February 15, 1969. An infield park and ride station, Woodcrest, was added in 1980. PATCO originally operated 121.67-foot cars, which were acquired in 2 separate orders labeled PATCO the First and PATCO the Second. The original PATCO the First cars were designed and manufactured by Budd of Philadelphia in 1968. Cars numbered 101 to 125 were single units, and cars numbered 201 to 250 were impermanently coupled mirror pairs. The Patco II cars were delivered in 1980 and consisted of married pairs numbered 251 to 296. The Patco II cars were manufactured by Vickers Canada under a license from Budd, but are nearly indistinguishable from the Patco I. The Patco II cars were originally fitted with Wabco Model N2 MU couplers. Because of reliability issues, these were replaced by Tomlinson-type couplers manufactured by Ohio Brands Company. The original electrical system in the Patco I car was found to have certain reliability issues and was completely rebuilt after the Patco II cars arrived to the Patco II standard. Patco was one of the first transit systems to incorporate automatic train operation for regular service. The system suffers from problems handling slippery track conditions, and human operators are required to take control in any sort of precipitation. Because of the ATO limitations, drivers must make one trip per day under manual operation to stay in practice and are not penalized for running their trains manually at any time of their choosing. In practice, most operators prefer automatic operations, as not only is it less effort, but it also tends to result in faster trips. Trains operate at a maximum of 65 miles per hour speed on the surface portion of the system and 40 miles per hour in the subway portion and over the bridge. Patco runs the majority of its train in 2, 4 or 6 car configurations. Before the Alstom rebuild, single unit trains were occasionally seen late at night, while 3 or 5 car trains were encountered only when not enough cars are available to meet the load line. Due to recent capital improvements, weekend and midday headways have grown, prompting Patco to run 4-car trains all day, albeit less frequently than the 2-car trains. Patco maintained the same interior styling in its vehicles from their introduction in 1969 through the end of the rebuilding process in 2018, with the 1980 Patco II cars receiving the exact same look. Each Patco car has a pair of doors on each side with a foyer area inside the doors for standing passengers. Patco announced plans for the complete refurbishment of the entire fleet, with work expected to begin in 2009. The contract for rebuilding the rolling stock was awarded to Alstom at a cost of $194.2 million. The first rebuilt cars were redelivered to Patco's Lindenwold, New Jersey shops on November 12, 2013, and were tested accordingly before going into service. Rebuilt cars are being renumbered into the 1000 series instead of their former numbers. The rebuilding is expected to extend the lives of these cars by 20 years, similar to the rebuilds received by many of the New York City subway's cars from R26 to the R46. As of March 24, 2019, all 120 cars have been overhauled and accepted back into service. The routes were as follows, with the current 3 service designations in bold. Local routes: Lindenwold Local, Express routes: Lindenwold Express, Philadelphia Local, Philadelphia Express, Woodcrest Local, Ferry Avenue Local. The only currently operating express service is westbound from Lindenwold towards Philadelphia, which operates 6 times daily between 7:30 a.m. to 8:45 a.m., skipping only Haddonfield, Westmont and Collingswood stations. There is currently no eastbound express service, and all eastbound trains terminate at Lindenwold, as opposed to terminating early at Ferry Avenue or Woodcrest. The newly rehabilitated cars had all of their existing front and side signage removed and replaced with Luminator amber-colored LED electronic signs. The entire Patco system is run from Center Tower, centrally located above a substation near the Broadway station in Camden and J. Center Tower is staffed by 2 operators at peak periods and a single operator otherwise. All Patco trains are electrically powered. Power comes from a top contact covered third rail at 750 volt DC. From its beginning in 1969, Patco used the magnetic ticket as the sole means of collecting fares. The plastic tickets may still be bought for single rides through vending machines in the stations. These machines once required coins, so bill changers were placed in stations. Each vending machine was capable of selling 2 types of tickets, which the rider chose by pushing a button after inserting the correct fare. After the ticket was purchased, it was inserted through a turnstile gate. To exit the station, it was inserted again, and if it had rides remaining, returned to the rider. In July 2006, Patco announced that it would start the transition from a magnetic ticket fare system to an electronic smart card system. Magnetic tickets are still sold for the occasional riders, however they are now in a paper form. The new computer vending machines allow more advanced purchasing options for Freedom cards. Payment can now be in the form of coins, bills, credit cards or debit cards. However, credit and debit cards can only be used to load fare onto a Freedom card or purchase a new card. The system has been in use by the general public at all Patco stations since its launch in 2007. The system was put into effect in an attempt to gain ridership, which had fallen sharply since its peak in 1990. The system was designed, built and integrated by Cubic Transportation Systems, Inc. Because of the system's flexibility, it could eventually be used on the SEPTA and River Line rail networks, allowing an integration of the systems. New Jersey transit buses connect the most Patco stations in New Jersey. The New Jersey Transit Atlantic City line also stops at Lindenwold Station, and the River Line connects at Broadway Station, Walter Rand Transportation Center. The SEPTA, Southeastern Pennsylvania Transportation Authority, Market Frankfort Line connects to Patco at the 8th and Market Station, which is 2 blocks away from SEPTA's Jefferson Station, where all but one of SEPTA's regional trains stop. SEPTA's Broad Street Line connects to Patco at the Walnut Locust Station via a short underground walkway to Patco's 12th, 13th and Locust, and 15 and 16 and Locust stations. The Broad Ridge Spar connects the Patco at the 8th and Market Station via a pedestrian walkway. Total number of stations is 13. Daily ridership is 38,000 passengers. The line length is 14.2 miles.